All new cars sold in California by 2035 will have to be zero emission under plans set to be adopted by the state this week. Proposals to be debated by the California Air Resources Board this week will formalize targets set by Governor Gavin Newsom and will likely prod other states basically in the same direction, right, to go into the same lane. Well, the plans, which board member Daniel Sperling recently told CNN he was 99.9% confident would be adopted, also include incremental steps mandating more than a third of 2026 car sales in the state be zero emission and over 2/3 by 2030. So on this, let's welcome back our panel. Republican strategist Erin Perini, Patrice Lee Onwuka, she's the director. I almost got through it.
Okay.
She's the director of the Center for Economic Opportunity at the Independent Women's Forum, and Kira Davis, deputy managing editor of Red State. Ladies, thanks for coming back. Thanks for sticking around. I appreciate it. So, Kira, let's start with you. So, this whole plan in California, is it even realistic? What do you think?
I'm in California. I live in Southern California. It is not realistic. As a matter of fact, I was just talking about this with some friends. I was saying this is not only is this unrealistic, this is just one of many California policies that are just really all about public perception, but it doesn't really have any muscle or teeth to it. Here's what I predict is going to happen. We're looking at a little over 10 years to zero emission cars throughout the whole state. There's 40 million people in this state, and only about 0.5% of those people actually live in wealth. So you're asking a lot of poor people to switch to electric vehicles, zero emission vehicles, in a little over 10 years? No, what's going to happen is we're going to get to 2035 and they're going to do what they do with other dumb green energy policies, which is they're going to delay it. They're going to put it on pause. Governor Newsom doesn't care. This is just a Governor Newsom plan. He doesn't care if we can do this by 2035. He knows we can't. He brought us this not because he cares about the emissions in our state. He's hoping that by 2035, he's going to be long gone. He's going to be nowhere near California. He's either going to be the president of the United States or a former president of the United States or a guy who tried to run for president of the United States and failed miserably. He's going to be one of those three by 2035. He won't even be thinking about the governorship or what's going on with us here. So no, I don't predict that this will come to fruition at all. At some point, it's going to have to get kicked down the road.
Yeah, I mean, look, here's a stock tip. Invest in Tesla, right, and its electric cars.
Just like Nancy Pelosi. She's got about $4 million in stock in Tesla. Isn't that a nice plot twist for Californians as they push this EV market there?
Yeah, well, let's talk, Erin, since you jumped in, the electric power grid to power electric cars pretty much comes from fossil fuels in the United States, either petroleum or coal. Are we really going to benefit from electric cars when it really comes down to it?
There's a number of ways that Americans do not benefit from electric cars, and there's also major energy concerns in California. This is a state known for brownouts and blackouts and energy infrastructure issues, and now they want to add more demand to an energy grid that's not meeting the current demand. That's a bad strategy. But when you talk about electric vehicles just on the face themselves, yes, they need to be charged. So you do have those concerns on the energy grid. But where are those batteries? Where are those interior portions made for an electric vehicle? Yes, they're generally made in China. So we are, again, benefiting the Chinese Communist Party at the sake of American independence here. And the average Californian household, not individual household, makes about $75,000 a year. And on average in 2021, an electric vehicle cost about $50,000. So when you look at what people can afford, it's not there either. This completely misses the mark across the board yet again in California.
Yeah, and speaking of California, people, from what I'm being told, are moving in droves to here, Florida. They're leaving California. They're getting the heck out of there, man. It's just too expensive, and now this, it's crazy. Speaking of California, Governor Newsom, he tweeted out something, and I want to read it. He said, California continues to lead the way. Experts said the new California rule, in both its stringency and reach, could stand alongside the Washington law as one of the world's most important climate change policies. It certainly sounds, Patrice, like he's starting to gear up to maybe run for president. This kind of smacks of politics and political ambitions, does it not?
Well, absolutely, and I think Kara laid it out for us very nicely that he's trying to be. This is him putting forward his progressive agenda for the future, recognizing that what happens in California doesn't stay there. It tends to be adopted by other democratically run states that tend to be coastal states, and then eventually becomes it's forced upon the rest of the nation. So I think he wants to set himself as the leader, the way that Al Gore invented the internet. And so this is him inventing climate change and electric vehicles for all through these mandates. You know, I can't underscore, though, enough how this is not ready. The fact that, you know, EV prices have increased 54% this year because of increased demand due to rising gas and the lack of inputs like computer chips, it suggests that there is definitely going to be a run on these vehicles, that, you know, and for the people who can't afford the rising prices, they're going to be left out in the cold. So I absolutely hope Kira is right that this gets delayed. But in the interim, I think you're going to see a lot of detriment done to a lot of industries.
Yeah, well, next we'll be talking about flying carports in California. That's perhaps next on the agenda. Ladies, Patrice, Kira, Aaron, I appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for being good sports. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right.